Hi. A few people have asked me how did I get my start in the art world, and I would like to save my fingers for my pottery, and that's why I'm going to do a video instead of typing it all. I started by working for artists. I always loved it. I knew that I didn't want to be in a cubicle with a 9-to-5. So my first job was actually at a pottery studio. And mentorship and apprenticeships are very important. You don't have to do an official mentorship or an official apprenticeship, but if you work for an artist, you're going to learn a little bit about the art business. That's how I got my start, and I recommend it for anyone. If you know somebody who's an artist, even if you do just a little bit of work, trade, or study, it's an important thing, and it gives you an insider's view of the art world. There are a few things that I wish I had known when I was first starting out. First of all, location. There's usually a catch-22. If it's an affordable place to live, you're not going to have wealthy people there, and there's not going to be a lot of people there who can afford your art. If you live in a place that's affordable, you can afford to live there, but nobody will be buying your art there. So if you live in an affordable place, you're probably going to have to live and work in the affordable place and then wholesale or travel to more upscale ritzy areas and sell your work there. If you do live in an expensive place, you're going to have to make sure that you can price accordingly so that you can not be a starving artist. I'm feeling like I'm finally getting the hang of this a little bit. I'm not starving, still hungry, I could eat. So I'm still learning. So think about, just because there's not a big art scene where you live, there might be a big art scene a little ways away. Or even if you're living in a place that's miles away from anywhere that has a good art scene, you could always find stores in places that would suit your work and just ask. A lot of the times, stores and boutiques and galleries, artists are people. Sometimes we can't fill an order. Sometimes someone gets sick or you have an emergency and the store is running low. Chances are, if you ask 10 stores if they are interested in carrying something, chances of getting 10 no's are kind of slim. You might get a yes, and you only need one yes. You're going to have to be good at hearing no and keep going. Art's personal, but don't take it personally. Some people will look at your work and they just won't get it. They're not your customers. Let it slide off your back. If you can't let that slide off your back, if you're really not good at dealing with the customers, I recommend wholesale. That way you can just make your stuff, pack it up, ship it out. You don't have to do the face-to-face stuff. I like the face-to-face stuff. That brings me to people and rapport. You're not Walmart. Don't try to be Walmart. I don't waste money on advertisement. What I do is make the nicest things that I can make, things that I feel proud of and that please me. When I find people who love them, I make sure that I treat those people well because they are supporting me. I could not do this without them. And to treat them in a blasé, offhand sort of way is disrespectful, not just to them, but to you and to the art world in general, because visual art doesn't need just someone to make it, it needs someone to see it. So instead of always trying to get new customers, really take care of the ones that you have, go the extra mile, make it really nice, and they will see that, and they'll tell their friends, and their friends will tell their friends. And that means a lot more than an advertisement. I mean, think about it. If there's a new pizza place down the street, you'll see ads for it. But it's not until your best friend says, hey, this new pizza joint is really great, that you'll go out and actually do it because you trust their opinion. So be trustworthy, and people will trust you, and make good stuff and they'll buy it. My other point about the art world is you're going to hear the expression paying your dues. To me, what that means is sometimes you have to work a little harder to build up a clientele. For example, lugging all of your stuff, schlepping it into the car and back to do shows, setting down and having these huge 14-hour days. You don't have to do that forever, but sometimes you have to do the art fairs in the beginning because that's how you meet these clientele. That's how you meet these people. Once you build up a following, then you might be able to sell online or ship, have people come to you. But I see often a lot of artists will just make some beautiful stuff in their living room. They haven't spent time developing social media following, so they only have 15 people and their Aunt Fred, well, whatever, it's Asheville, your Aunt Fred is there. Can you tell I didn't script this? They might only have 15 people on their page, so don't be surprised when you post something and it's just crickets, all right? You're not going to sell the most beautiful painting in the world if it's just sitting in your living room and nobody's going to see it. So the art has to be where people are going to see it. And at first it's going to be a lot more legwork, but then after a while, people will come to you if you treat them right. So really, other than that, I'm going to quote my good friend and mentor, Jeffrey Bohr of Chillmark Pottery. I asked him years ago how he built such a successful business, and he has an amazing pottery studio called Chillmark Pottery, Chilmark, Chillmark Pottery in Massachusetts, on Martha's Vineyard Island. And he gave me the most memorable answer, which was, well, I don't know, I just sort of stumbled into success. And I laughed, but you know, it's true, and I did too. I mean, I feel like I'm successful, I'm happy with what I do. People seem to like it. Stumble forward into success. It's not a straight line. Just fall down. When you fall down, get back up. Just keep going and have ahead of everything your main goal. If your main goal is to be an artist and all of a sudden you're spending 6 days a week waiting tables or getting a law degree or scrolling through Facebook, you have to make art to be an artist. So put the engine where the engine should be, and if art is your main thing, then you have to art. You have to art a lot, consistently. And you're actually going to be better off doing art for 3 hours a day, almost every day, than you would doing art for, you know, a full day and then ignoring it for a month. Even when you don't feel like making stuff, you make stuff. Because you're an artist and you make art. Really, the art that you make makes you an artist. If you don't make art, you're just a person who wants to be an artist. So don't worry if it's good or bad. People have come into my shop and they've picked things up and said, oh my god, I love it, it's the best. Some people walk into my shop and they kind of give it the stink eye and they walk off, or they don't even notice that they look bored. That's okay. If art were for everyone, it wouldn't be art. The fact is, it is personal, so keep it personal. Try not to focus too much on what's marketable. Make everything that you want to make. Half of it might be marketable, half of it won't be. Focus on the marketable types, the marketable kinds of artwork you make. You don't have to, you can't please everyone, but if you focus mostly on things that please you and mostly on things that please your customers, you'll find a nice sort of overlap there. The other last piece of advice, because I just noticed I'm going over time, is time. Have at least a ballpark idea of how long it takes you to create a piece. If it takes you 15 minutes, then you can sell it for 10 bucks. If it takes you 15 hours, you're gonna have to make some more money off of it. You have to cover your pay, and I don't work for less than 15 an hour. Mostly I bill my time out at 25 or so an hour, mostly sliding scale. You've got materials, you have overhead. Remember that you are an artist, but if you want to live as an artist without being independently wealthy, you also actually have to be a business. Profit is not a dirty word. Learn how to make it. And it can be an art form too. Trying to balance the business part with the art and not lose yourself and not lose focus, I think, is part of the beauty of it. because art, when it fits into your life so nicely, I think it has even more meaning than it would if you just didn't have to sell it, if you didn't have to think about other people looking at it. I think when you have to think about other people looking at it and using it and buying it, it ties you into the community in the art world in a way that you can't do just alone in a studio, and it can be uncomfortable, but the discomfort's where you grow. So I hope that answered some questions. Thank you for walking alongside me as I stumble forward into success. And I'm not going to cry on YouTube because I'm just thinking about all the support I've had. So thank you. All right, over now.